All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the very first episode of the new show name In the Pocket with Eddie Law and Nick Pilecki. It's a new name, but even better, MMA talk and analysis and all that good stuff. So we will no longer go by the 5 rounds name. It will be In the Pocket. So this is episode 1. You guys are all tuned into. Of course, I am your host, Eddie Law from CrossBonesMMA, and also from CrossBonesMMA, Nick Pilecki. How you doing, man?
Good. There's a storm brewing here in Corpus. If you haven't heard, there's a tropical depression storm, a rainstorm called Bill. So it's all crappy outside. But other than that, everything's good. And we have good. I'll get into it later with you.
Okay. I guess we'll get into it. Real quick, talking about storms. It's always funny. They name the pussiest storms, they give them guy names, and the craziest fucking storms, they give them chick names.
Yeah.
But I think those are hurricanes. So I don't know. Anyway, all right, moving on to the very first thing. UFC 188 went down this last weekend in Mexico City. One of the most depressing days I've ever had in my life. Not only did a lot of my Mexican guys lose, but the champion got massacred. But let's kick it off at the very beginning of the card that went down on UFC Fight Pass. We'll go over the results and talk about certain fights, whichever ones you want to bring up, Nick. So first fight on Fight Pass, Gabriel Benitez taking on Clay Collard. Benitez just controlled the fight, won the first 2 rounds. The last round didn't even matter. Collard just, couldn't land any shots at that point. After that, Cathal Pendred wins the most boring decision I've seen in a very long time against Augusto Montano. So real quick, on Cathal Pendred, he says he thinks something's wrong and he needs to fix. I say it's because he's boring as dog shit. He doesn't take any chances whatsoever. Not like he used to early in his career. What do you think of Pendred?
He plays it safe. I think he just plays it safe. He thinks that, I don't know what's going on. Well, you play it safe. You need to throw some. I don't know. Watching Keyboard Warriors, and I think Aaron put it properly. It's just like watching 2 Tekken characters just glitching out the whole time. And I was like, can someone throw a punch? Can someone do something crazy? No, he's just a boring fighter. He needs to figure out, like, hey, I'm really good at kicks. Let me throw some kicks. I'm really good at taking people down and slamming on the face. Let's do that. Like, figure out what you're good at and do that. Don't just play it safe the whole fight.
Yeah, and he did play it safe the entire fight. That's what he does. And he's upset that people call him boring and no one wants to put him on the main card. But I keep winning. So, motherfucker, you bore everyone to death. Everyone tunes the hell out because, you're fighting. So, and I knew as soon as they put this fight together, Montano's a guy that likes to get in the to shameless plug in the pocket and throw combos. But Pendred's not the kind of guy. Pendred likes to run, likes to take you down, just lay on top of you, just to score points. Basically, he didn't do any damage. It was actually a pretty damn boring fight. So that was your early Fight Pass prelims, and Cathal Pendred deserves to stay on the prelims until he decides to at least try to go for a finish. All right, moving on to the FX prelims. Francisco Trevino losing to Johnny Case via decision. After that, we get what is supposed to be the fastest submission win in, I guess, UFC WC history. And when Patrick Williams subbed Alejandro Perez via guillotine. Look, I didn't expect it, and it was a nice little finish. It didn't surprise me either. What did you think of that fight?
I didn't expect that at all, but I was very happy it happened because it was great. It made ESPN's top 10, I think, which is rarely happens for MMA. Patrick Williams saw an opportunity and took it. When Perez came in for a takedown, he grabbed his neck and he took it. And he did not let that choke go. He's like, this is an opportunity for me to make a name for myself and do something crazy. I'm going to do it. And he didn't let it go. So I really respect that, and I really appreciated that. That was awesome.
Yeah, and look, Patrick Williams is a guy that, I didn't expect him to do anything in that fight. I expected Perez to be able to stay with him on the ground, snuff him, and kind of maybe not end his night, but, just basically take all 3 rounds and send Patrick home, packing. But so obviously, look, feel really, really happy for Patrick Williams. Dude was ecstatic, got a pat on the back from Dana White. After that, Efrain Escudero got one back to the Mexicans via a very quick guillotine choke of Drew Dober. Drew Dober, whose head is way too big for his body, couldn't get the fucking head out of a guillotine and ended up tapping pretty fucking quick. I believe it was like 23 seconds. I'm not sure in the fight. But look, I'm happy for Efrain Escudero. Dude is really up and down in his career, mostly down. What do you think of the fight?
Yeah, like you said, I'm happy for Efrain. He's coming off if you don't know who he is, he's coming off the Ultimate Fighter. He won the Ultimate Fighter. He was supposed to be that guy, and he wasn't. And got kicked out of UFC. Came back. gone, come back, gone, come back. So now he's here. He gets a good win over Drew Dover and a good guillotine choke against someone who has a big head, or his head's bigger than his body, but good job, Efren. I'm excited. I kind of want to see him again, not with a top 10 opponent. Hell no, not with the top 10 opponent. I just want to see him back in the cage as soon as possible. I want to see if he can even climb the rankings.
I want to see if he can keep it, if this can actually start some kind of momentum for him, because that's what he's needed his entire career is momentum. He's never had any of it. So, good for him. Hopefully he can get some a bigger opponent out of this and maybe get some momentum going, just like I was saying. After this, apparently, supposedly, Henry Cejudo defeats Chico Camus via decision in a fight that I think Camus came out looking a lot better, even though he lost. I think he gained more from this fight than Henry Cejudo did. Cejudo did. I mean, look, he just wrestled. And I mean, it's cool, whatever, but Chico Camus stayed with him and could have won the fight, I think. What do you think of this fight?
I was very, very, very entertained with the fight, but I don't think Cejudo wins. In my opinion, Harry lost. It was very, very close. I can see how the judges saw it was in his favor. Yes, they're in Mexico. You can speculate about that all you want, but very razor thin decision, but I don't think Henry won.
Yeah, and it could have gone either way, and I agree with you on that. I thought Camus could have pulled off the upset, and I was like, after the fights that went down tonight so far, anything can fucking happen. So, but who gets it? Obviously, you're in Mexico. You're not gonna really, as far as the decision goes, if it's that close, it's more than likely not gonna go against you unless you give up Melendez. But we'll talk about that in a second. Moving on here, the first fight on the main card, Tisha Torres hugs Angela Hill to a decision win. Don't even care to watch. They even talk about that fight because that was dog shit. After that, one of the most promising fighters to come out of Mexico now, Yair Rodriguez, he put on a show against Charles Rosa. It even went decision. It wasn't even a finish of any kind. Flying kicks, just the man. Yeah, I can't wait to see Yair fight again once he, even especially if he improves, man. What do you think of that fight?
The first thing that he came out with is, I think it was a flying knee. And then a flying kick, and then another flying knee, and then a spinning back fist, and then another Superman punch. I don't know. I was like, all right, are we doing this? Because someone's going to go to sleep. I was so excited for that. I was sitting at the bar like, all right, this is going to happen. Someone's going to sleep. And he didn't. He just put on a show, and it was a great show, and I really enjoyed him. I had Rosa winning. I thought he can get the ground, take it to the ground and control the fight, but I was wrong, and I was super happy to be wrong.
No, it was an awesome fight, man. I'm very happy to see Yuri, get one of the lighter weight guys, Mexican guys, to put on a show. Anyway, after that, we get a fight that was, I looked at it and I was like, oh shit, this just looks bad. Kelvin Gastelum ends up TKOing Nate Marquardt. When Nate Marquardt couldn't answer the bill, I guess, come out for the second round. Kelvin overwhelmed him, just overwhelmed him. And I thought Nate could come up with some kind of big shot to put Kelvin out on his feet. It never managed to do it. Barely pulled the trigger on anything. And Kelvin overwhelmed him, put him down, and Nate actually quit in between rounds. He said, I have nothing left, or I got nothing. I have nothing. And his corner, much to his credit for his corner, by the way, most corners will tell you to suck it up, get the fuck out there, and all that shit. And his corner threw the towel in for him, and that much respect to them for doing that, for caring about their guy. What do you think of Kelvin's win here?
I hate that a lot of people are hating on Kelvin right now. That he beat Nate Marquardt. Nate Marquardt's a vet. Okay, you have to think about that. He's a vet. He's been in there with Anderson Silva. He's been the top of the top in other organizations and everything. He is a vet. Yes, he got gassed out. Maybe he didn't work to the altitude that he had to, but Kelvin Gastelum's a monster, dude, and I think middleweight is his division. He needs to stay in middleweight. He does not need to try cutting weight. He's done it in the past, and it's failed every single time. Stay in middleweight. I kind of want to see how he'll do in middleweight. I'm excited to see it. I kind of want to feed him a top 10 opponent, give him someone ranking under the top 10, someone. Just give him someone, and let's see how he does against it. I think he could do good. The way he just completely dominated Nate Marquardt, even though he gassed himself out, he has potential. Now, he doesn't have to cut weight. I think he's stronger in this weight class. I kind of hope, but I know you have a different opinion on that.
Look, man, if I'm Kelvin Gastelum, I find a way to prove to Dana White today that I can make 170. There's absolutely no fucking way you stay at 185. You just can't stay at 185. You really, even he said it himself. He can't beat Rockhold. He can't beat Jacare. Definitely can't beat Weidman. You know what I mean? It's not going to happen.
That's his downfall. Why would you even say, I can't do that? You can. There's always a way. It's a fight. You can use your better tactics against theirs. It's like, it's a fight. You can always be, okay, give him a top 15. Give him CB Dollaway. See how he does against CB Dollaway. Give him Tim Kennedy, maybe. But I think he could do it. Him against Tim Kennedy would be a good fight. I think he can beat some of the top 10, even the top 15 guys. I think he'll beat Yolo Romero? No. Musasi? Nah, no. Lyoto Machida? Hell no. But I think he could build himself in the division and work his way up slowly to the top. I don't think he can cut that down to middleweight or welterweight.
No, fuck that. Cut down to 170, dude. Get the hell out of 185 as fast as possible. I mean, look, I don't know. And we might actually get to see him fight another 185 because Dana White said that he hasn't seen anything that proves that he can make 170. So again, if I'm Kelvin, I'm like, hey man, let me do a test cut. Let me show you can make 170 and then work from there. But we'll get to find out at some point.
This is what you do. You give him Dan Henderson. Dan Henderson needs a fight. He just knocked someone out. Give him Dan Henderson. Give him a vet and see how he does.
You want to line up a bunch, I think I know. I get you now, motherfucker. I think you want to line up guys in front of Dan Henderson and see if one of them will die from an H-bomb. I think that's what you're trying to do, motherfucker. What are you doing?
No, I actually think that he is smarter than most fighters, except cutting weight. I think that's stupid. He can't cut weight. I don't think if he cuts down the welterweight and he can healthily do it and not dehydrate himself and not die in the process, okay, do it one time. If you could do it one time, then I'll give you the props, but I don't think he can. I think he's staying at middleweight.
And that's where I agree with you. I think you have to do it as far as the weight cut goes. I think you have to be able to do it healthily. Prove you can do it in a healthy way. Look, man, suck it up. Pay the Mike Dolce, man. All his guys make it for the most part.
Those tortillas and dark beer, it's just too good.
Yeah, you got to let it go, man. We saw him better, motherfucker. We know you eat like a pig. All right, moving on here to the co-main event of the evening, which disappointed the hell out of me for the most part. Gilbert Melendez losing to Eddie Alvarez via split decision. When they announced the decision, I said, look, I was watching at my friend's house. I said, because unanimous is going to Gilbert. If it's split, it's going to Eddie. And so, there's no way to give Eddie a decision in Mexico. And I'm like, just watch, motherfucker, just watch. And split decision. And I yelled it out when he said, and when they obviously split it, I was like, Eddie just won. And look, man, credit to him for first of all, rookie mistake. You break your nose, you don't blow it. You just know you don't blow your nose. That's like number one rule, dude. That's the number one thing you learn. You don't blow your nose. And the first thing he did was blow his nose after the round ended. His eye just pops, just filled up. Fought with one eye for the most part. And he's a guy that fights with all kinds of heart. But in my opinion, Gilbert Melendez gave everything he could in the first round, but he kind of let off the gas, quite a bit in the second and third rounds. Mostly because he was kind of wary of the altitude. Maybe he was worried about gassing out. I'm not sure. How'd you see the fight?
This is the fight I actually predicted it to be. It was a great fight. Don't get me wrong. It was great, but it wasn't the fight that the fans wanted. They wanted this all-out brawl. They hate each other. But this was the one of the top lightweights that are fighting, and they're going to try to counter each other. They know their strengths and their weaknesses. It was a great fight. I enjoyed it. I picked Alvarez to win, but I actually thought Melendez won the fight. It was very close, though. It was super close. But like you said, when he blew his nose after the nose break, I was like, oh, no, you're done. You're fighting with one eye. I already see. You see it when he's walking to his corner, just swell up really quick. So I thought he was done after that. I thought Gilbert would capitalize on that, start hitting that side of the face, which he did, but he just couldn't drop Alvarez. He couldn't finish him. So I'm happy Alvarez won. What do we do with Alvarez now?
Oh, I don't know. I lost to Cerrone. I went over Gilbert Melendez, who's fought for the title, mind you.
Do we wait for Nurmagomedov to come back and give him Nurmagomedov? I think he dies in that fight.
Anthony Pettis?
Anthony Pettis would be a good fight.
Pettis Alvarez, I wouldn't mind seeing that. One guy's a dynamic striker. The other one's a heavy puncher. Why not?
Yeah. And then what do you do with Melendez? It sucks to be Melendez right now.
Fuck, I don't know, man. That's a hard thing there. Nurmy.
Really?
I don't know. I mean, you're not going to get Nurmagomedov a title fight. I don't think.
No. Cerrone's already getting the title fight. I think that's already established.
Yeah, they're making him wait, which is kind of funny. But yeah. Anyway, so we'll see pretty soon what happens to those guys. Neither one of them took Alvarez took damage, but he didn't take so much damage that they should suspend him for a long time. And then Melendez didn't take much damage at all, if any. Yeah. So they should be back relatively quickly. All right, and then moving on to the main event, the one that caused me to take as many shots as I possibly could in no time. Fabricio Verdum is your new heavyweight champ due to guillotine choke in the third round. Here's the thing, and I said this yesterday on Keyboard Warriors. I said, look, I give all 100% credit to Verdum. All right, the man, he came in 3 months early and prepared. He not only prepared for Cain's pressure, he prepared for the pace, obviously with the altitude training. Mm-hmm. I thought those knees that he landed when Cain tried to pressure him onto the cage, I thought those knees were key. I think landing those motherfuckers was big time. In the first round, you got the usual Cain for the most part. In the second round, you got gassed out Cain. Cain looked tired. And on the top of that, his head was bouncing all over the place from all the strikes. Verdum's striking is so much improved. You can't just go in there and think you're gonna knock him out or outstrike him. Dude's striking is great over working over with King's MMA and all that. And then of course to finish it with a submission, it's classic Fabricio. He submitted Fedor. He submitted Cain now. What'd you think of the fight?
I told you.
First of all, no, time out. Fuck that. All right. And I should have said this shit last night, but I didn't. I'm gonna say it right now. Okay. All you motherfuckers that picked Verdum, all of you, none of you said it with any balls. Okay.
What?
Said, well, Cain could win. I mean, no, Cain's gonna win, but Verdum might. I have a feeling Verdum might win. I kept saying Cain's gonna win. I actually said it with some balls, motherfucker.
Go back to the pre-show. I said if Cain wins, he's gonna win by murdering him. He's gonna beat the shit out of him, and that's it. It's over. But I said when Verdum wins, he's gonna submit Cain Velasquez. He's going to submit Cain Velasquez. And what happened? You said no one submits Cain Velasquez. No one. Have you seen him work off his back? Have you ever seen him on his back or in a dangerous position on the ground? We did that night. And during the choke, Verdum was smiling the whole time because he knew.
He knew it was over.
He knew it was over. I was surprised. Striking-wise, I was surprised Verdum beat him striking. The first round, I was like, all right, Cain's going to throw everything. He's going to try to finish the fight. And then after that, I was like, all right, this is Verdum's moment to shine. Let's go. And when he was striking with him, completely shocked. I didn't know I thought he would just go for the takedown, try to get a sub. Shocked at that point, but not shocked at the finish. So I was happy. You were not happy. No. You felt like me when Anderson lost.
But yeah, pretty much you can see it that way. Yeah, exactly. I was a little depressed, and Saturday I was just not talking to anybody. I mean, I ignored everybody. And then of course, last night talking to Aaron and Fred, whatever. But dude, it was hard it's just hard because I think Cain's arrogance got the best of him. Yeah. I'm not saying that Verdum wasn't the better man. He absolutely was the better fighter that night. What I am gonna say is that Cain didn't what?
No, I'm just reading Twitter.
This motherfucker.
Andrew.
Boy, I said with confidence, you cheeky twat. Okay, Andrew. Okay, fine. Andrew said it with confidence. All right. Anyway, so here's the thing. Cain said it himself. It's like coming in 2 weeks to prepare for the altitude, wasn't enough. Javier Mendez, his coach at AKA, kept telling him to go to Mexico and get prepared. Cain didn't want to. He thought for sure his cardio, and what he had already in the tank was enough. Clearly, it wasn't. All right, the arrogance to think that he could just show up and win, I think was step one to doing him in. Verdum being just super prepared and super improved in the last, quite a few fights that he's won. It was just the foot on the pedal at that point. Yeah. But no, but again, Cain said no excuses. I'm not making excuses for Cain. I'm just giving the reason for why I think why I think was a start for or one of the reasons why he lost. But Verdum is a motherfucker. Again, he wasn't known. He was never known as a guy for striking. He was known for his jiu-jitsu. Now he's gonna be known for his striking and his jiu-jitsu. Dude's a scary motherfucker. Who's he got to take on next? I have no idea. That's the thing. The heavyweight division is so crazy. JDS lost 3 times to Cain, or two times to Cain. JDS is probably next in line, either him, Andre, or Stipe. Do I think Verdum beats all of them? Yes. Maybe not JDS. Maybe JDS can catch him, and we can have another JDS title run. But I don't think
anyone in the heavyweight division except Kane can beat Verdum. If a right mindset Kane trained for his fight, because it looked like he'd even trained for the fight. He trained just to, okay, I'm gonna go and knock him out, and I'm gonna win because I have good cardio. Already know I have good. He let it go to his head. Maybe Verdum beats JDS, and then we get Kane back. I don't want to see JDS win, and then we get JDS Kane again. I don't want that. So
yeah, it's true. No, and I agree with you. I think the fight you make is JDS, and then you let Arlovsky and Stipe fight for to take on the winner. I think. What?
Yeah. Who do you give Kane?
Oh, we talked about this last night. It wasn't Travis
Brown.
No. Somebody else. Overeem.
No, because Overeem. No, that's just a feeder fight for Kane to get back at the title. You can't give him a feeder fight. You make him earn that.
Hey, look, I want to see Kane. Anytime Overeem gets his ass kicked, I want to see it. I'm just saying, especially with Kane.
And then I want Overeem to knock Kane out.
It's not gonna happen. Anyway, you know what? I can't even say that because I said that Kane was gonna get subbed. So
give Crow Cop a shot. Andrew says, give Crow Cop a shot.
Crow Cop against title shot.
I don't know. He said just give Crow Cop a shot.
Give Crow Cop a shot. Okay. If it's at the title, hell no. If it's no, there's no way.
Look, the fight you do for Kane, the smart fight you do for Kane is Kane Arlovsky. I think Kane Arlovsky is a smart fight because you have a guy who people are saying he could make a run, and then you have the last champion saying, "Oh, I want my title back." Give him that. See what happens. Arlovsky is saying that he's coming back. He's a different fighter now. All right, let's see it. Let's see you beat Cardio Kane, and see what Cardio Kane pops up.
Yeah, prove your Cardio Kane. Fuck. Sorry. It pissed me off. I was mad at Kane, man, because you know what the number one thing I hate about I hate in athletes is when they don't put in the effort and when it's obvious they didn't put in the effort. Now, again, we have to mention gone for 2 years, MCL injuries, ring rust, cage rust, whatever you want to call it, is a real thing. All those things could have been in there. However, when you go in there and you're gonna say you're gonna stomp this dude in Mexico City and you're gonna keep up your belt and all that shit, and then you go in and put in that kind of performance, I don't think there was much effort. This is kind of the way I see it.
How many fans do you think Kane lost because of that?
I don't know.
I think a lot of people are like, I can't rely on this guy. He's talks his game, but he barely showed up for a fight.
MMA fans are historically flaky. Okay,
true.
As soon as Anthony Pettis lost, I mean, you never hear anyone talking about Showtime anymore. Yeah. They don't even talk about RDA. They talk about Donald Cerrone. When Brock Lesnar lost, nothing. When all these guys, and I know Andrew said no mention of Brock Lesnar. Well, I said it.
There will be mentioning of Brock Lesnar later too. So.
Oh, jeez. All right. Well, here we go. It's gonna be bloodies and cheeky twats and bloody hells everywhere. Anyway, all right. So that was your title fight there, and and I agree. Give JDS a shot, and see where we go from there. Especially because if you're ever doing, you want that fight.
How much of a chance do you think they just make an instant rematch?
He doesn't deserve it. Kane doesn't deserve a rematch. Not right now. Not immediate. But there's a good chance it could happen. It's the UFC. Do
you think Dana makes a rematch in Brazil?
I hope not. I hope he makes it in Vegas. That's just, that's just because I want Kane to have a good chance. But no, I don't think he'd make it in Brazil. I think he'd make that fight in Vegas. I think he'd make JDS Verdum in Brazil.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
Because you would pack the shit out of some fucking arena there. All right, so that's gonna do it for UFC 188. Let's talk Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo, look, you tell me what you think, all right, Nick? Because I don't think it's a controversy. I think this is stupid, but we have to talk about it. Jose Aldo had basically the Nevada State Athletic Commission ordered a random drug test for Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo's in Brazil, so they sent Ben Mosier over to Nova União. By the way, Ben Mosier is the drug-free sport director. Anyway, excuse me. They sent him to conduct a random drug test, and he got a urine sample from Aldo, but it had to be discarded when the Brazilian MMA Commission, which I didn't know even existed, and the Brazilian Federal Police learned that Mosier didn't have a proper work visa to conduct any kind of work in Brazil. So they discarded the piss test. They fined Mosier, and they told him he got to June 19th, so that's this Friday, to get the fuck out of Brazil. So then Aldo was tested again on Friday, this time by a Brazilian affiliate of WADA. So if that gives you a little confidence, cool. And UFC has since come out in support of Aldo, and Conor McGregor coming out calling Aldo and his coach Little Weasel, saying that PEDs might just be a culture thing in Brazil. First of all, do you think this is even like a story?
Yeah, because look at the Brazilian who's been juicing, Anderson Silva's juicing. Who says that Jose Aldo's not juicing? It's a little bit weird in my opinion. In my opinion, every Brazilian's juicing now. I don't care until I see facts, but I don't care. It's gonna hype up the fight. It's gonna be fuel to Conor to talk crap during interviews and everything like that. I don't care. As long as the test comes back positive, I'm happy to see this fight, and I'm happy to see Jose kill Conor McGregor. But I don't know. I don't care.
Yeah,
it's just weird.
I don't think it's a story. I think it's MMA fan. Anybody will find any reason to make a controversy out of anything. By the way, Mike Jarvis tweeting in saying he says, quote, "I say Kane versus Josh Barnett."
That'd
be a weird fight.
Doesn't Barnett have a opponent right now?
He does. I can't think off the top of my head who it is.
Yeah,
but I'm pretty sure he has a fight.
But, I like
that'd
that.
Be something. Yeah.
Catch wrestling versus cardio Kane. Catch wrestling wins.
Dude, don't start with me. All right, don't start with me. I'm gonna back Kane till the day I die, or whatever. But until the day he dies in the cage, but still.
Hey, this is payback for all the Anderson jokes.
I got you. Anyway, all right, moving on. Let's talk about UFC Berlin going on this weekend. Look, let's be honest. Not a lot of. It's not a stat card. It's not even a stacked. It's not. It's just a card. It's a lot of prelim fights. Let's just talk about a couple of names here. Nicholas Backstrom, as everyone knows, trains with Alexander Gustafsson, taking on Noad Laat, and then one of the Russians, Mairbek Taisumov, taking on Alan Patrick, which that should be a pretty decent fight. This is all on Fight Pass prelims. It's all the whole thing's Fight Pass. Just get on Fight Pass. And then the main prelim for the Fight Pass card is going to be Makwan Amirkhani against Masio Follin. Amirkhani actually won in Sweden in like 2 seconds. So we actually might get to see him actually fight a full round this time. All right, so that'll be a Fight Pass. And then the only fight that's really worth mentioning on the main card is really the title fight, Johanna Jędrzejczyk against Jessica Penne. We already know what Johanna brings. Johanna brings in the striking. She can stuff takedowns, and she made Carlos Esparza look silly as hell. But can she do that with Jessica Penne? What do you think?
Yes. Jędrzejczyk's going to be champion forever. What are they calling her? What's her nickname now? Joanna Champion or something like that. They were saying that's since they can't pronounce her last name. I think she's gonna be champion for a very long time. Her stand up and her striking is way too crisp for anybody in that division. Jessica Penne, if she wins, she better take that down and hold her there and stay there. But if Carla can't do that, there's no way that Penne is gonna do it. So I'm kind of upset that this is a Fight Pass card. I think you need to build this division anyway, and you should have your champion fighting at least on Free Fox or FX or FX1, something, FX2 even. Don't put it on Fight Pass. Don't make people buy a subscription to go see this fight. Market her because she's going to be champion for a very long time and people need to see it.
Don't put it on FS2 because I ain't paying for that shit. All right, I'd rather pay for Fight Pass. We can get.
Wait, you don't have FS2?
Fuck no, I don't. You think I'm going to pay for premium cable? My cable company sucks already, bro. All right. Shout out to Cox being shitty. Look up Arizona. All right. Arizona cable company is not the greatest. All right. Moving on here. Let's talk Kimbo against Shamrock. Scott Coker came out not too long ago saying that he thinks Kimbo Slice against Ken Shamrock is going to set ratings records. Now, I thought and still do think he's full of shit and completely crazy. However, Aaron Robbins last night on Keyboard Warriors made a good point that everybody that's even knows the name Ken Shamrock and anybody that knows the name Kimbo Slice is from whatever backyard brawls that he's done and anything else is going to tune into this fight. One, it's free. Two, it's a freak show. And now I'm starting to think that maybe Scott Coker's onto something. What do you think?
I like it. The freak show side of me is coming out. Now, I like this fight. I just want to watch it because it's going to be entertaining. Do I think it beats records? No, I think it beats the Stephan Bonner Tito Ortiz fight, because you're going to get the casual fans that seeing Kimbo Slice on YouTube, popping people's eyes out and everything like that. And I'm going to give a shout out to Fred Kirby. Fred Kirby said it last night. Kimbo Slice is a marketable heavyweight. I'll back fret up with that. He's marketable. Everyone knows who he is. Everyone knows his past, and that's how you market him. He's that backyard brawler. He's that guy that has a grill that says he's worth $40,000 in his teeth and everything like that. He comes out with a chain. He goes out to fight. He's marketable. I'm just gonna watch it. I really don't care who wins. I'm just gonna sit there and laugh and see who either passes out, breaks their ankle, or dies in the cage first. So
look,
the rest of the card is good.
Yeah, it's gonna be Ken Shamrock taking him down for a heel hook or a knee bar or whatever. At least it should be. Ken Shamrock might feel the pressure to keep it standing to be entertaining, but I don't know. I don't think so.
That's what I think it's gonna be. I think Shamrock's ego is gonna come out and like, oh, I can bang with this guy, and he's gonna get dropped.
Dude, Ken Shamrock looks old as shit. His face and his head are old as shit. The rest of him just looks juiced to the gills.
The rest of him looks like Bobby Lashley. If you've seen a picture of Bobby Lashley's huge. Okay, that's natural that I know of. But no, Ken Shamrock is doing something. I don't care what anybody says.
I hear you. All right, let's talk about the rest of the card on Bellator 138 this Friday. Live for the East Coast, not live for the West Coast. Fuck you, Bellator and Spike, for doing that. You guys are assholes. I always have to either find a stream online and watch you guys live, or just get the results on Twitter. I do not watch that shit on TV because I always know who won already. I don't need to see the fight. The only one that I might do that with is the Shamrock Slice fight. I like the circus, I really do, and I like watching car crashes that are non-lethal. Anyway, yeah. Let's talk about that card because you were talking about a couple fights here. Patricio Pitbull taking on Daniel Weichel. Weichel's an experienced guy, 35-8. He's got 5 inches on Pitbull. I don't know Weichel that well enough to say he's going to win the fight. I think Pitbull's going to win it, but 35-8, it's a lot of experience, man. So he has a good shot at it. And then before that, I think because I don't know really the order on this card of how this works on here. Michael Chandler taking on Derek Campos, just like you were saying. I think you said it was a feeder. You think it's a feeder fight?
Yeah, it's a feeder fight for Michael Chandler just to get back either at the belt or end his contract and come over to UFC. I think there's a couple of fighters on this Bellator card that I think can jump over the UFC and rock divisions. I think Pitbull can come over to the UFC and do decently in his division. Same with Michael Chandler. Daniel Stratus, a little bit. I think he needs to grow a little bit more. And we need heavyweights. We need more heavyweights. I'm saying Bobby Lashley should come to the UFC.
You think Bobby Lashley doesn't juice?
No. I watched his amateur wrestling back in the day because when I was a pro wrestling fan back in the day, I watched his amateur wrestling. His amateur wrestling is good, and he was big. He was in the Army and everything like that. He's just naturally huge. I don't know if he was juicing with WWE or whatever, or TNA, whatever the hell he was with, but he's that big.
All right, well, hey, he's fighting Friday night against. It was supposed to be against Jason Thompson. You think? You said? Yeah,
it was supposed to be James Thompson. It was supposed to be his rematch of his second MMA loss, and he wanted the rematch because it was very close. He gassed himself out, and he wanted the rematch. But now he's fighting your boy Dan Charles.
Yeah, Dan Charles, last I saw, he was training over at Arizona Combat Sports in Tempe, Arizona. I think he still might. Maybe he's at the lab. I don't know. I lost track of that dude. I used to see him in the gym all the time. But I think they're feeding him to Bobby Lashley, dude. This is I don't have a lot of confidence in Dan winning this fight. So I'm actually going to tune in to watch that one too. But again, if you want to watch this, if you're in the East Coast especially, it's going to be on Spike this Friday night. And good job, Bellator.com, for not putting the time that this shit goes down on.
Yeah, I couldn't find
They really need to work on this because this is ridiculous.
It should be.
Check local listings and ignore the Bellator. If you're on the West Coast, fuck it. Find a stream. There's just no way you're going to watch it live or you watch the replay, basically, and enjoy it because you're already going to know who won, especially if you're on Twitter.
Or stay off Twitter and watch it with me. Even though I'm over here, I'm going to be watching it West Coast time because I got to work.
I hear you. All right, man. Moving on here to the I think second to last. Oh yeah, you want to talk about this? All right. So CM Punk, who came out to a lot of criticism, a lot of fanfare from wrestling fans, especially. Now CM Punk left the WWE in, from what I've read, not so nice circumstances to the point where there was actually some kind of litigation, and CM Punk won big time. Now he wants to fight, so he signs with UFC with an 0-0 record, no amateur fights, no nothing. Training over at Rufus Sport in Wisconsin because it's about 2 hours from Chicago, I think is what it is. and so he can go home whenever he wants to. So now they're coming out. He was supposed to fight late this year. Now they're talking about fighting next year. I'm starting to have my doubts whether we ever see CM Punk fight. What do you think?
I think we do. UFC is going to have an announcement coming up soon. I read it on Twitter. I totally forgot about it. What the date was, but they're announcing something big that's going to be a fan favorite. So I think they're going to announce CM Punk's fight. I think this is just to get hype around his name and get people paying attention to him again, and then they're going to announce it. I honestly think he's going to fight in Houston. I think he's going to fight in that Houston card because they have not announced anything for that Houston card yet. And a big name that you can throw on a Houston card is CM Punk. There's a lot of pro wrestling schools in Houston, and I think a lot of people will come out to see that. So I think it's that. He's saying that he won't mind fighting in 2016, that he's still training, but I honestly think that they're going to throw him out somewhere.
Is that Houston card a pay-per-view card?
Yes.
Okay, but because look, you didn't sign CM Punk to put him on the prelims, so
no, he'll be on a pay-per-view card. He'll probably be before the co-main or co-main, just because his name. I know it's gonna suck. But,
Andrew Reed, tweet in on what you think on this bullshit, because I know you got to have some opinion on this.
But if you listen to Chael Sonnen's podcast, they had what the hell? One of the managers from WWE that used to manage CM Punk, and apparently CM Punk wanted to leave 4 years ago and just try to get out, and they kept feeding him, "Hey, we'll do this, we'll do that." He's always wanted to fight MMA. He's been saying it for years. He's been training it for a couple of years. So I'm excited to see him in the cage. I don't care if he wins or loses. I just want to see him in the cage.
I just don't want to see the Green Ranger asswipe come in and fight him. I do not want to see that.
The nerd in me wants to see that.
Of course you fucking want to see that.
The nerd in me wants to see that because I kind of want to see it. But he's a heavyweight. He's not going to come down to what weight class, welterweight or middleweight. He's not going to fight that. Yeah. That's not going to happen. That's just Jason David Frank blowing smoke up everyone's eyes.
That guy just wants to get in the UFC. You know what's funny? You know the reason you know when I knew it was all bullshit? When he did a selfie in front of UFC gym. And he did it with the hands up and shit. He was like, "Oh, you're for the UFC gym." I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Why don't you go to a legit gym? Anyone that goes to UFC gym, you know you're there to work out. You're not there to train shit. No. But,
his gyms are actually pretty. His martial arts schools are pretty cool. I've been to one in Houston. They're nice, but they're not MMA gyms. They're martial arts gyms. They teach karate and taekwondo and all that other bullshit. It's not MMA. Do I want to see the fight? Yeah, nerd me does, but I don't ever think it's gonna happen.
I hope not. I don't know. I don't see Jason David Frank fight anybody in the UFC. That's some WSOF shit.
Have you ever seen any of his MMA fights?
I saw one on YouTube. I was not impressed.
Yeah, no, he just uses his muscle, his strength, and just hold people down. That's it.
That's kind of what it is.
But if it gets announced in Houston, CM Punk in Houston against the Houston boy, I'm down.
All right. Couple tweets from Andrew Reed real quick. Andrew Reed, I completely agree with you. Andrew Reed tweets over, "Too many bloody pit bulls in MMA." I agree. Everyone's thinking it's freaking pit bull. And then he also says, from Andrew Reed, he says, quote, "I genuinely couldn't give a fuck about CM Punk and where he fights. It's a publicity stunt." I completely agree.
Yeah, look at Bellator. They're doing the same thing.
Everyone's doing the same thing. Coker's playing copycat, and it might not be a bad idea for Bellator anyway, but at some point, Bellator's got to start trying to find some kind of, they got to stop spinning the wheel so damn much.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the last thing of the show, the top 5. Today's top 5 is going to be top 5. I'm going to call it fantasy MMA fights because it's fights that will never happen. It's fights that we wish could have happened. So we basically making matchups. Doesn't matter the era. Did we say it had to be the same weight class, or do we assume it had to be the same weight class?
I didn't think about that, but I just randomly threw some fights together.
Yeah, throw some fights together. Fuck it. So we threw fights together from different eras, guys that we want to see fight and face off. All right, Nick, go first. You're number 5.
My number 5 is going to be, it's random because they're two of they remind me of the same person, Forrest Griffin versus Sam Alvey.
Huh.
I just think that would be the craziest, funniest fight I've ever seen in my life. Sam Alvey, the smiling Sam, he's super weird and funny, but he knocks people out. And then same with Forrest Griffin, he's super weird and funny, but he knows how to fight. He'll go in there and just not care. So I think that would be actually a very, very entertaining fight.
And what is it the American Psycho? He'd probably be down for that shit. So yeah, that'd be great. You know what? Maybe one day it'll happen. I really doubt it, but that one has a slim possibility. All right, my number 5 is going to be, and I'm gonna get the
really Brock Lesnar, really
no Ben Askren.
Oh,
Ben Askren against GSP. I want to see who can hug better, who can ground and hump better, who can hump their opponent's leg better. I want to see it. Ben Askren have been calling, saying he's better, welterweight than GSP and all that shit, better than anybody else. I want to see Ben Askren prove it. I want to see. It would be like a hug off. It would be a wrestle fuck off. That's what it would be. It would be two dudes humping each other on the ground. It might get a little too gay for a lot of people, but it would be kind of funny to me, and I'd want to see it because I like hilarious shit, and to me, I'd probably be laughing the entire fight. But that's my number 5. Who you got at number 4?
Number 4 is going to be the traditional Gracie versus Paul Harris. 2 jiu-jitsu practitioners just going at it. I think that would be very entertaining. Who would get the leg lock first? Who would get the guillotine?
Which Gracie are you talking about?
Why can't I remember his name right now?
Henzo?
Yes, Henzo Gracie versus Paul Harris. I think it'd just be entertaining. It'd be a good grappling match to watch. When you told me the topic, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to pick fun fights to watch, and I think that'd be very fun to watch.
All right, yeah, that would be a good one. All right, my number is number 4 still? Shit. My number 4 is going to be my number 4 is going to be Chuck Liddell against John Jones. Yeah, we talked about forever. Everyone talks about it. Who'd win a fight between Chuck and John? I would have to go with John because it's the evolution, but I would love to see that fight. That'd be a great fight. You could make a super card if that was ever even possible. But again, it's never going to happen. But it's a fight that a lot of people have talked about, and everyone's going to be like, oh, well, Chuck would win because of this, and John would win because of that. It's just a fight that we would all love to see. You're only going to get to see it on those UFC video games, though. So
Chuck loses. Chuck loses.
Probably.
Chuck in his prime, maybe not.
Well, no, not Chuck now. I'm talking about Chuck. We're talking about fights.
Chuck in his prime, no, maybe.
So?
It'd be a good fight. I think it'd be a good fight.
Yeah. Anyway, you're number 3.
My number 3, sorry, Andrew, Fedor versus Brock Lesnar. We almost had it. We almost had it, and I wanted to see it happen. And I think it would have been just a weird fight just to watch, but Fedor probably would have won. Maybe. I don't know. But, yeah, that fight. Sorry, Andrew.
All right, moving on. My number 3, and this is the belief in me. I wanted to see Kane. I got one day Kane versus Fedor. I want to see Kane versus Fedor. Look, a lot of people up until this last weekend said that Kane was, the best heavyweight of all time. Everybody else has been saying Fedor, the best heavyweight of all time. It would be awesome to have a fight to basically decide who won. Who's the best one. And to me, that'd be an awesome fight to see. Kane versus Fedor. Not sure who would win, probably Fedor, but not sure who would win overall. But that'd be on number 3. Who's your number 2?
Andrew, I'm sorry. He just said, "Oh, fuck off." My number 2, Andrew, you can tell me fuck off again. Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar. The geek in me just wants to see that fight. 2 big ex-pro wrestlers that are just too huge to be that fast and that athletic fighting each other. I just think another entertaining heavyweight fight, and it just, I don't know. It's not going to happen. I doubt it's ever going to happen. It's never happened in the WWE either, but I just think it would happen. Could be a way better MMA fight.
All right. My number 2, and this is going to sound like I'm cheating a little bit when you hear my number 1, but my number 2, I actually took it from Andrew Reed earlier on Twitter. Rickson Gracie against anybody. I will watch Rickson Gracie fight anybody. I don't care who it is. In fact, fuck it. I bet Rickson Gracie now could beat CM Punk. I just think he could. And Rickson Gracie can barely move. If you listen to Joe Rogan's podcast with Rickson, dude's got, not with Rickson, with Crone, his son Crone. Rickson's got, some physical issues, obviously, after decades of martial arts and all that. But Rickson Gracie against anybody, I'd be down to watch. What do you say?
Andrew's just, I give up.
I give up. Yeah, he tapped. He's like, fuck it. I don't want to hear any more Brock Lesnar shit. All right, and you're number 1.
All right, I have actually a runner-up. I just thought about this. If we're not talking about MMA fighters, I want to see Joe Rogan versus anybody. Anybody. I want to see. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Joe Rogan versus CM Punk. I think that'd be very entertaining. I just want to see Joe Rogan in a cage fighting people, because I think he'd be laughing the whole time.
He probably would. He'd probably be like, "Oh, this is funny." He would just jit somebody so nasty. That dude's just so good at it.
But my number one, it's not Anderson Silva versus GSP. It is BJ Penn versus Conor McGregor.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. That's kind of cool.
That just explains it all. BJ Penn versus Conor McGregor, the greatest of all time in his area versus the quote unquote greatest of all time right now. It's just, I want to see that. Just have at it. Just let him go.
Can you imagine the shit talk between those two?
That would be insane.
Fred Kirby would jizz himself in his pants if he heard all the shit talk from BJ Penn. BJ Penn could talk some shit, and he would take it way too far. He would say some crazy shit like, "I'm gonna kill you and eat your body after you're dead." And he'll say some psycho shit, baby.
Dude, the stuff that he did after his fights, licking the gloves, licking the blood off his gloves, that scared the shit out of me when I was younger. That man was scary. So yeah, BJ Penn versus Conor McGregor.
I'd be so down to see that.
Make it happen. BJ Penn come out of retirement.
My number one, Rickson Gracie against Kazushi Sakuraba.
You can't have Rickson Gracie again.
I just said I was
versus
cheating.
anybody.
It's going to sound like I was cheating, but I want to see him against Sakuraba. Rickson Gracie against Sakuraba. Rickson actually turned down $5 million. They offered him $5 million to fight Sakuraba, and he turned it down. I don't know why.
I'll take $5 million to fight Kane.
Yeah,
gassed out Kane. I'll probably still die.
Now Sakuraba was known as the Gracie killer, and for some reason, he just didn't really want to do it. So and this is a quote that Rickson gave Gracie magazine about being offered the fight and refused, but refusing because he was already retired, right? Mm-hmm. But he refused to come out of retirement for $5 million for some reason. I would have taken that shit immediately. But he actually told the Gracie magazine, quote, "That fight would have been the biggest payout of all times. They offered me $5 million. It would have put me on easy street. He beat a number of Gracies, and it would have been a good fight for me, perhaps the best fight. He really was a thorn in the side of all the Gracies, but it never went down. So I wish we could have seen it. Sakuraba against Rickson Gracie, and I would take Rickson Gracie all day.
I'd fight every heavyweight in the UFC for $5 million.
And Andrew Reid just mentioned DDC versus Fedor.
That'd be a good one.
Black Fedor against regular Fedor.
I should have said DC versus Kane.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, you just go to fucking AKA and watch them in the sparring session.
Just watch them spar. Yeah, but
apparently,
no. Yeah, I'm down for that.
All right, so that's gonna do it for our top five. Anything else you want to bring up besides Mike Tyson possibly coming out of retirement to fight James Toney?
Really? When was this and that? When did you read this?
I'm just reading. I just saw it on Twitter right now, and I was like,
"It's gonna be an MMA fight." Please,
no, it's a boxing match. Fucking
come on, James Toney already touched MMA or an octagon.
We saw how good that went. We saw how well that fucking.
We saw a toe grab takedown to getting beat up. It's just let Mike Tyson come into a cage, please. You'll live my dream. That'll yes, please.
Yeah, it'll be a boxing match if it happens, but I really don't think it'll happen. That's just dumb. Let it go. All right, but you said you want to do something up?
Eddie Alvarez calling out Nick Diaz.
Nate Diaz or Nick?
Nate Diaz.
I was gonna say Nick will fuck up Eddie any day. Nate, he has a chance against.
Wait, you think Nick beat Alvarez?
Nick Diaz will fuck up Eddie Alvarez any day.
Okay, so what do you think of Nate versus Alvarez?
I think that'd be a good fight. I think the stand-up game would be awesome. I think the second it got to the ground, it'd be Nate all day. Mm-hmm. But Eddie Alvarez isn't a punk on the ground, by the way. He's solid. Yeah. I think he's a wrestler by base. I'm pretty sure. Mm-hmm. But Eddie Alvarez against Nate Diaz, I'd be down to see that shit any day. But
do you think it happens?
You know what? Yes. Look, Nate Diaz came out heated. Like, I'll fight him right the fuck now in the back in the backstage area of Mexico City UFC, whatever. Let's fucking go. And Nate Diaz opened his mouth. However, this was smart by Nate. Now, this could have just been him being him, Nate being Nate or being a Diaz, but fuck, I just lost track of my whatever. Lost track of whatever I was saying, but this is a smart move for Nate Diaz because this can get him paid just like he wants to. A feud fight against Eddie Alvarez on a co-main pay-per-view card, I can see it happening. It'd be a good fight.
No, it will headline a Fox card.
God, no. Right. Stop putting Nate on Fox
card. It's gonna headline a Fox card. That's the only way Nate gets the fight and he gets paid the most he can. Yeah. And Andrew Reid tweeting in, $5 million wasn't worth Rickson's reputation. Completely agree.
Completely agree. I still would have wanted to see the
I
fight.
still want to see that.
Yeah. All right, so we got nothing else today. There's a couple announcements here. The name of the show is now In the Pocket. It's going to be In the Pocket basically from now on. What was I going to say? Oh, the website. I know the website's been down. People have been tweeting to me about it. The website, yes, the website went down. There was some kind of technical issue. Thanks a lot, WordPress, you fucks, trying to update my shit without telling me. So I'm in the process of putting it back together. It's going to come back in a different format. It's going to look better. All right. The way I see it, it's going to look awesome. So I'm expecting to be able to have things set up by today, tomorrow, but I'm hoping definitely by Sunday I can launch the site and it'll be ready to go. Here's the thing that's going to happen with this site. In this site, it's not going to be a traditional MMA site. This is not a new site. We're not going to be MMA Junkie or Bloody Elbow or anything. This is us talking about the current events in MMA, giving our opinion. You're going to get articles from Don Manos. You're going to get stuff from Jesse Rubacava. You're going to get stuff from me. You're going to get all the shows on there. It's going to be as unique as we could possibly make it. So we're hoping you like it. There's going to be a lot of work put into it. So, stick with us. As soon as it's launched, I'll put the announcement out. You guys can check it out. Let us know what you think of the site. For now, you're going to get that coming soon thing from Bluehost. I think is what it is. But definitely stick with us. You can also you can go to iTunes and subscribe to the shows on there. You can download them, put them on your phone and your iPod, whatever. We're also on Stitcher and SoundCloud. So yeah, you can get all those there. So you can follow Nick at NickXMicro. Follow myself at Elaw31. The page is at CrossBonesMMA. And for shits and giggles, follow at Keyboard MMA for the Keyboard Warriors. If that's going to be it for today. Thanks for joining us. Thanks, Nick. And we'll catch you guys later.
Later.